What a screw up. What an utter screw up that was, Godot. Come on. Come on, Armando. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey. And I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well tried. If you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own! Can I say Misty killed herself? No, Nick, please don't! Maya! I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. Why doesn't anyone tell me anything? You know everything already? Mia told you everything already? Can you channel Misty? Can you channel Misty right now and have Misty tell us what happened? Nobody tells me anything. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia. And me too! Maya, I know that. Nick! But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Fey, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? Is this really the last thing? Okay. Why can't we just channel Misty? Why can't we channel Misty? Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Oh, wait, what? Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream! Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights, I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Ha! Things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Fey? It looks like you still can't prove it. Alright, Godot. Maya is telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright. Proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. So... I can't believe... There's no, come on. There's no way you could screw that up. You just had to tell Pearls, whatever you do, don't summon Dahlia. Right? How could Misty Fey not be able to convince... like, she's the key to the whole plan. Pearl is the key to the whole plan. Like, once you have her, just immediately, like, grab her and stop her. Why would you just, like, pretend nothing's happening? Oh, no, everything's fine. Maybe tonight you can come with me and we'll read some books together, little girl. No, just forget the pretense. Unbelievable. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. Lights shining in the dark. I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but just after that, you turned towards the light and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember, after all. There was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. A soft scream? It was a woman's voice, so that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Well, I mean, we assume so, but you know, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be. Isn't that right? Or is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. A soft scream? Wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. She was stabbed with this? And there was a soft scream? See this, the blood doesn't match the victim's. What about this? What happened after that? She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Really? She was stabbed with this and she could still fight? No. Like, if you were stabbed with this, maybe you could still take a swing. If you're stabbed with this, how do you still fight? Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly. But I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement. And also, the smell of blood. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so. But suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight, maybe the mask was damaged. Maybe he turned it off deliberately so he couldn't be seen? Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out, right? Or maybe those little red pinhead looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream! Whose scream? What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights ran out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? So then that scream came from the killer. That's got to be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. No. No, it's the other knife. It's the smaller knife. And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Are you kidding me? Dahlia got stabbed with this thing, pulled it out, stabbed Godot, and then Godot took it off her and stabbed her again? Come on. Come on. You just like take this giant sword and you just pass it back and forth, stabbing each other. Stab you once, and you take it, you stab me once, and I take it back off you and I stab you once again. Come on. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to you. It seems to make sense to me. Really, Judge, it seems to make sense to you, is that right? It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. I'm gonna say there's a contradiction. I think it's the small knife. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream. Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade in the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah! Is that right? She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. Or she could have, but it would be really impressive. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like amazing. To have like an entire sword you pull it back out of your body, turn it around and stab the other guy. That is impressive. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Yeah, no, that's pretty obvious. So we just need to find out if this blood matches Godot. And then we have the evidence that Godot was there. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Dahlia didn't even know the staff was a sword. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. Oh yeah, you wanna take your shirt off? For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been for the victim. Nope. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. Take your clothes off right now, Godot. Take off all your clothes. In court. Take off your shirt. Show me your abs. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood should prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it will prove it was your blood. Nice theory, Trite. Take off your shirt, Godot! Take it off! Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Ha! Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood It doesn't belong to me. Not a chance! Alright, well, whose is it? In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. Wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Alright, go on. Maya, this dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes would be bloody or have a rip in them, right? I mean, he could have changed clothes. Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes. That solved the contradiction pretty easily. I think Maya wants to see Godot with his shirt off. Alright, you know what? Just for you, Maya. Can we just tell Godot to take off his clothes? What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Ah, that's right. And once that bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ah! Damn it! Can we get his shirt off already? Well, maybe he bought a change of clothes with him. Yeah, no, Phoenix, no, come on, Phoenix. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have bought a change of clothes? Did the judge take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. Yes, I also like to strip naked before I kill people. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, Wright. You know how cold it gets up there at night? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. And you know that because you tried it. Ah! Ah! So that's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. You know, we can just call her Godot. we can't just channel her. You shouldn't say that, Godot. If Mia Fey were here, so come on, Trite, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer, but can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? No, not really. Look, can we not like analyze the knife? We just let him bluff the knife to nothing? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is I have to prove it. That's the only chance I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ha! That's good. A fighter to the bitter end, right? Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? What? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. I don't know what this is. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you have got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing. He was cut underneath the underneath his goggles. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there was no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop. Wright, let's hear what you've got. Where is this location where you say the killer hid his wound? Wait, it's in here? Why is it in here? It's under the mask? The question is like, what evidence? Why does it want me to present evidence? Why does it ask me to present evidence? I don't get it. I don't get why it asked me to present evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. Alright, so that's not it. I don't know what they're talking about. A different angle, he says. Think about this from a different angle. Not. Upside down. No, it's not the upside down Maya. Loris? It's hidden underneath the paint. Oh wait, no, that was right. Hold on, it doesn't let me load. No, I was right the first time. I was right the first time. Bamboozled. I was right the first time. You just present his face. I was just wondering, like, why? Like, what am I presenting? No, you just present his face. I got bamboozled. Alright, I'm gonna load the game. Because the other one, you could still load the game after you select it. That means it's not the same. It's behind the mask, right? Ha! I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is, you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, trite? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved! I can't believe we just let him bluff his way out of the knife wound. Ah! We said the blood on the knife would match his, and he just said nah. And then we never analyzed it. What? Unbelievable. Just now, oops, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You yourself? Why are you... Judge, this is a courtroom. Why are you indulging his soliloquies? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya! Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? No, you. But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh. I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong! You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for my sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette, a part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl, but I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Fey? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore! I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando! I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound! It's bleeding! Ha! Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Mr. Armando! You'd do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.